Woke up from a night shift feeling not very poppy. Last few nights, I don't know what it is, man, but just waking up really tired. Crappy sleep, waking up because the bladder's full. So I wake up at, went to bed at 9, woke up at 11:30, 12, I think it was something like that. Then get back, roll around, finally got up again at 1 o'clock and called it there. Went to watch the replay, Denver, Minnesota. Watched that game. Denver looked like they were sluggish just as much as me. That was kind of crap to see. After that game, had a banana to eat, came out here, started warming up, and I'm like, damn, man, this is not going to go well. At that point, I kind of extended my warm-ups, tried different things to get going, and ended up going into these squat ATG sits. Overdid it, but I knew it wasn't going to go well, so I just thought I'd explore. And I did 3 sets of 5 minutes. I showed you this one here. This was kind of the third one, and barely, I don't think I made it to 5 minutes. It was something like 4 minutes, 40 seconds or something like that. Just sitting in that position, trying to wake up the hips, leg off the hip flexors, which is really nice. It's a nice feeling to do, but, doing deep stretches before doing an AMRAP set or any top effort is not a good idea. You're not going to be strong. I knew that. On top of the sluggishness that I felt, I knew it was going to be a bad thing. But regardless, man, you work what you have. You push as much as you can. Again, today, the body didn't feel well, so I couldn't even push the lungs and legs. The hips felt off. My bar path felt off. I was on my tippy toes. The weight was shifting forward, and I just felt off. I wasn't in the groove. So 180 there for a set of 5, which is freaking half of what I usually can. In my mind, when I was warming up, I thought to myself, why don't I just have a super light day and just, try again tomorrow? Thinking to myself, why have this rigidity 3-day split on my life when I seem to be always falling. The AMRAP days seem to be falling on days where I can't really push, after a night shift, really early mornings. I feel like I've had a stretch of these in the last week or so where I feel like my AMRAP days are always falling on some unfortunate circumstance. But whatever, I just thought to myself, cool, it is what it is, man. Just measure effort. If you're pushing, then that's it. Don't worry about the results. And so that was kind of why I stuck with it. I still went to 180. Did it for 5, but really felt like it was 8, 9 on the effort scale in terms of how many reps I would have done if I felt good. Probably could have had 1 or 2 more, but it's just, I try to explain to people all the time, it's about how it feels, and squatting didn't feel good today. And I don't want to put heaps of reps into the squat when it doesn't feel good. Because I've been down that road before where you are pushing through a brick wall and then all of a sudden the body bites back and lets you know, nah, that wasn't cool, man. Here's some pain for the next week or so. So, I kind of went until I started losing even more positioning. I think the rep 4 was really bad, fully going forward. So it just tells me that the hips are off. The hips are off. I can't maintain any verticality. Not that I usually have verticality, but that's the way I do it. So then I, racked the bar and I've started messing around with some core work, side bends, that kind of stuff, doing some hip stuff, just filling in the time. This is the thing, like even on days when you are feeling really, really crappy, where you don't feel the strongest, let's say it's not a day where you can set a PR of any sort, rep or weight, you can still do the little things. You can always do the little things and get blood into right areas and stimulate the body through accessory work. And that's what I really enjoy about training every day. You come in and you put your best foot forward, and it's not going to be, the greatest every day. I haven't eaten, I don't know, for God knows how long. I mean, I've had a banana and a pear. I'm lethargic, just crappy. Sometimes those lethargic days, you can still produce a 1 rep, top set, 1 rep max or top set for a single, like quite well. But conditioning stuff, going for reps, it seems to be that, you better have some meals, in you, some fuel if you want to be good at that. But this is the thing, you do the best you can and then you go forward. And days like this is what I love about it, where it doesn't go to plan and then you start to explore. And I absolutely love the exploration part. I don't know how long it's been since I've attempted to do a 5-minute sit in a squat. But I remember the last time I did it, it was more difficult. This time around, it felt a little bit better. I got 5 minutes, and I could have probably got 10 minutes the first time around I did it. So that's interesting to me. So it seems like I'm much more comfortable in an ATG position, much more comfortable. And I'm sitting back and I'm thinking, how did that happen? I haven't been stretching. I haven't been doing the split machine or anything like that, yet I seem to have been released through my pelvis, through the adductors, lower back. I'm just wondering whether these high repetitions have done something along those lines. And then obviously the very next thought is, not obvious for everyone, but for me, I always kind of like put an idea on steroids and run with it. What if I did some isometric holds? The cameraman was telling me the other day, he took his car to a mechanic and they got chatting, and the mechanic was like, yeah, man, I'll work out, that kind of thing. I don't know how they got to the conversation, but apparently the guy used to hold the record for the longest plank. And so the cameraman rings me up. He's like, dude, you have no idea who I just met, like what I found out. Look him up. Yeah, it's legit. This dude, he held the plank for 9 hours, if I'm not mistaken. I might have forgotten. 9 hours and 30 minutes and 5 seconds, 8 seconds, something like that. Let me repeat that again. This dude held a plank for 9 hours and 30 minutes. He was outdone by another guy from Czech Republic, I think in 2022. So the mechanic guy did it in 2000 or 2001, and then only a few years ago, another guy was able to go a little longer, and he got like 9 hours, 38 minutes, or something like that. Only beat him by a few minutes. But it got me thinking. This is the thing. Like, you hear things and you kind of challenge your ideas, you challenge what your belief systems are, and you kind of put that on steroids, and you go, okay, is there any benefit in doing something like that? And then I recall a family member telling me, the skiers that in the Winter Olympics, they ski down the mountain and go left, right around cones or whatever they're called. He was able to hold, I'm probably not gonna be correct here, but he was able to hold a wall sit for also like an extraordinary amount of time, like 30 minutes or something like that. It's probably even longer, but same like the plank, it was like something extraordinary. Now, I don't know whether you guys, I'm sure if you've worked out for any period of time, you'd know if you've tried to hold a plank. Now, if you ask me to do a plank now and you put a gun to my head, I maybe could get 5 minutes. Untrained. It's something I haven't done or trained for, but maybe 5 minutes. Probably I would be dead at 3 minutes. But maybe like if I was really, really, my life depended on it, I could get 5 minutes. This brother got 9 hours. 9 hours. So what's happening there? Well, clearly one muscle cannot be fully contracted for 9 hours. So there must be some technique where he's resting certain muscles, doing, rotating it in a way which I'm not familiar with. But in that skier's example, this guy also was able to hold a wall sit. Now, I remember back in the day, basketball days, where the coach used to kind of use this as a finishing off, like a conditioning exercise on the wall, under 14s, under 16s, basketball, that kind of thing. And we'd have us do wall sits, and once again, brutal. You're shaking like a leaf, sweat dripping off your nose, all that kind of stuff. And I've messed around with wall sits before, but the question always goes back to, is there value in doing something like that? Is there any value in somebody that is interested in squatting? Now, in that instance, you are basically just holding a position, let's say in the wall sit, in the worst possible or the weakest mechanical position in the squat, like right in the middle, the sticking point. Is there value in that? Is there value? And let's say you take your wall sit from, I don't know, 2 minutes to 10 minutes over the course of a few months. Will that transfer? Will that carry over? It's worth a thought. It's worth a thought. Like, for instance, that guy that did 9-hour plank, does he have a strong core? Would that translate to a deadlift? At what point does it become completely irrelevant? Like, what if somebody goes from 5 minutes in a plank to 30 minutes in a plank? Does that guy have a stronger plank? And does that plank then carry over to a deadlift or a squat? I mean, these are the questions that you kind of go, I mean, clearly the further you go away from specificity, the less carryover is going to be. Like, you would rather have that individual hold, let's say, a plank for 20 seconds with super, super, super heavy loads on his back, mimicking an absolute tension of a core, which mimics absolute tension of a core during a max squat or deadlift. But these type of other, for time or for huge repetitions, is there any value in that? And that's something that I always think about when I run across these type of scenarios. I'm like, I wish I could go back in 2001 and I wish I knew this guy who was really good at, the plank. I wish I tested him in the squat, in the deadlift, and, does he have carryover? It's kind of like, in the past, I've wondered about rock climbers. There was an instance, I watched a video of a guy, I forget the guy's name, he's like a European fella, really good rock climber, amazing, like pull-up machine. He had like a 2 times body weight day one of trying the deadlift. 2 times body weight deadlift on day one. I mean, he was a smaller kind of fella, like 50, 60 kilos, or whatever he was, but he was able to do 2 times body weight. Now, 2 times body weight deadlift for me took me years to get to that. It took me a very long time to get to that kind of level. So this is kind of where you start to pick bits and pieces apart to kind of work out, is there value in some of these things? Like what makes the rock climber really good at deadlifts? Well, it has to be the upper back, right? He doesn't have hamstrings or quads. So it's the upper back that's the limiting factor maybe for me in the deadlift, because I squat a lot, so my legs are really, really good, but I can't do pull-ups like he can. So this is where you kind of start to like move pieces around of the puzzle and kind of try and make sense of all of this. Would the plank guy really, really good at deadlifting or squatting? Would the wall sit guy be really good at barbell squats? Interesting thoughts, isn't it? Before I let you go, guys, I've got somebody I want to mention, a fella by the name of Helmer. He's the latest fella on Patreon, popped up yesterday. Helmer, man, I always say this, but it never gets old for me. I never get comfortable with these ideas of people all over the world supporting me. The names that you see on the Patreon slides that I put up here, a lot of these names have come and gone. I've decided to leave them on just to show my appreciation for supporting me at all. So, I remember when names would come on and come off and come on, come off, I'd be like, okay, should I take it off? And I always felt negative taking it off, because whatever the support was, I feel like it's important for me to highlight it, for a long time. So Helmer, it makes me really, really happy to see you pop up to support, not only watching the videos and commenting, but now also Patreon support as well, which is unbelievable to me. So thank you, and thank you everyone on Patreon. And like I always say, appreciate you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.